Welcome to Granny Shift, and I'm Ryan,
And I'm Jason.
and this is minute 56 of Fast and Furious. And for our viewers, they can see Jason is holding our cat.
How do you get your cat to meow?
Um, Kindly? I'm not sure. Deprive him
Oh,
of water for 4 days.
you heard that word.
Yeah.
Step on his foot.
He's used
So-
to a house full of kids,
Yes.
and currently my kids are gone.
Ryan's been home alone for 3 weeks now.
It's crazy.
4, maybe. Your wife could be home soon.
Oh my
When
goodness.
this comes out.
Don't rush it.
You got so much done. I'm proud of your productivity.
Thank you. I
Alright.
just hope that I am.
Yep. Okay. So, this minute is exciting, but not much happens.
Yeah, this is a suspenseful minute.
Yeah.
And I would like to say for everybody who was shouting at the last minute, I was correct. It is a Chevelle.
Oh, right.
69. I believe it's a
I
69.
think it's the only year they made Chevelles. I think Chevy only made muscle cars that year.
That was a popular year. For-
Why?
Was it the 69? I'm pretty sure it was a 69 or 70 that they came out with a 454. So it was a huge engine. It made like a ton of horsepower. And like once you get into like the 70s, like especially like 73, then like emission stuff started,
Yeah.
like they're starting to get hammered on like fuel consumption and
It was like
environmental concerns.
by the late 70s, they were the big block V8s were making like 175 horsepower, right?
Oh yeah.
It's
Mid
crazy.
70s. I'd say 75, like your 70 75 or 76 was the first year of of catalytic converters, I think.
Oh,
And so once that's kind of stuff, like they didn't know
Yeah.
how to like cope with like now we can make huge horsepower and still meet EPA
right.
regulations, but not back then.
All right. Since we're talking about the environment, I went down this rabbit hole the other
Okay.
day. So I saw a TikTok, and TikToks can be very misleading because they put this like thing that's like all catchy, and you're like, what? I never knew that. That's the opposite of what I thought, right?
Right.
So this TikTok said, it was this environmentalist speaking. He said, if there's one thing you can do today to help the environment, it's to stop recycling plastic.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? This is bogus. He said, 90% of our plastic ends up in the oceans.
Oh, okay.
So, and I looked into it. So what happens because plastic being made from brand new plastic from petroleum is so cheap, it becomes cheap often that it's way cheaper to make brand new plastic than it is to use recycled
Really?
plastic.
Hmm.
Like the price fluctuates. So sometimes it's more cost effective one way or the other, but often it's cheaper to use brand new because there's a process involved in recycling that's expensive.
Right.
So what they do is they have all this extra plastic then to get rid of it, they ship it to third world countries. The third world countries then will sort through it.
Plastic that needs to be recycled.
That was recycled by
Right.
Americans. This is
Right.
an American problem.
Okay.
Apparently this isn't as big of like it's not a problem in Europe. So we ship it to third world countries. They sort through it, pull out like the thicker pieces that are worth a little more, recycle those, and the rest, because they don't have all the regulations over there, gets dumped into like rivers and stuff and floats out to oceans. Like I looked into this and it's pretty legit. Like there's
Really?
a lot of environmentalist companies like trying to push awareness of this problem because obviously we can't do that here
Right. But
in the
even,
US.
even companies like Liquid Death,
Yeah.
like they're like, oh, the water that looks like it's beer. Like they're not. Their goal isn't to look like a beer. I mean, partially it's to be
looks
attractive,
cool.
you
Yeah.
know. But I mean, their main thing was like, we're gonna put water in a metal can.
Because
Because-
aluminum is effective to recycle.
Right.
Yeah.
Unlike plastic.
Unlike plastic isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately the best thing is to avoid plastic,
Right.
wasting plastic. But I said, yeah, it's better to throw out plastic.
So if you throw away plastic, it goes into like an incinerator somewhere and burns, and like it's just
Sometimes.
bad for the environment.
No, it depends where you're at. Some like we have an incinerator around here.
Okay.
A lot of our waste goes to the incinerator, and it's actually a really clean process.
Okay.
To get approved, they have like a pretty crazy scrubber system on it that removes any like stuff from getting other than CO2, which is unavoidable.
Right.
But they generate
We create
electricity.
CO2.
But it's one of the cleanest like burning. I don't know that actually. I've heard that, but it's
I've
supposed to
seen
be
it
a
on
really
the side
clean.
of trash trucks.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really
Right.
clean way to create electricity because they have a really good process of cleaning the smoke that comes off it.
Well,
A lot of it goes into landfills,
yeah.
which it'll slowly deteriorate over a long time. And even some of our landfills
What
now,
goes into landfills? The like
things,
byproduct?
what you throw in your trash can,
Oh, okay. Like entire
everything in that trash can.
soda bottle will go to
Yeah,
a hole in the ground
yeah, and they
without doing
bury it.
anything to it.
Right. And my dad was working next to the incinerator the one day, and he was telling me, you shouldn't recycle. It's a waste. Don't recycle. I was working next to it, and they take plastic there, and it's all separated. But he said the big claw thing was coming over and grabbing chunks of plastic out and putting it in with the other stuff.
Oh.
Occasionally, it would grab a bunch of plastic that was recycled and burn it.
Oh.
But I looked into that, and apparently they have to like keep up. Like a lot of trash doesn't burn well or hot enough, so they use plastic. They'll add the plastic in because plastic burns really well, and it just helps balance out what they need to make a
Interesting.
good hot
It's like
fire.
a lubricant.
Yeah, or it's more combustible than glass,
Yeah, that's true.
which you're
But I
supposed to
remember-
recycle too.
I don't know if they still do this or not, but like when we were in Honduras and Costa Rica, like they reused all the glass. Like
Yeah,
they didn't
the
sell
bottles.
you soda in bottles.
They didn't even recycle it. They
Right.
reuse. They wash the bottles, and I think Canada does that as well.
I wonder if like a lot of the world does that.
In Canada, you get way more for a case of bottles. You get like a couple dollars back if you bring a case of bottles back
Right.
to the beer distributor. They take it there, which makes so much sense.
Right.
Because
But then I mean I take mine, I break them on the train tracks. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's fun.
So fun. Yeah, and they make sea glass. Everybody loves sea glass,
My
right?
kids go nuts for sea glass. I'm like, this is a broken beer
Yeah.
bottle. Like
Oh, I found a green
It's-
one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a Yingling.
yeah.
Yeah, but even in like landfills are somewhat. Well, we worked for a company that was able to reclaim. We would build them like piping and install their generators and stuff, and they would like landfills because you're putting all that trash in there. As it deteriorates, puts off a gas, like it's methane or something,
Yeah.
and they created a system to capture the methane, and then they would burn it on
immediately,
generators
yeah.
and use it as
Oh,
electricity.
they would like capture it and like transport it somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had like a big. We installed all this equipment to clean it, and then they would transport it from like northern PA down to. There's a company down near Gap that has
Okay.
a couple huge generators down there and burns it for electricity.
Isn't methane like really bad for the environment?
If you
That's why
don't,
people are saying like, oh, dairy farms are killing the ozone because of all the
if you
cow
don't,
farts.
if you don't burn it, yeah.
But cows just fart like you can't.
All right, one more fact because you started talking about that. I just took a tour of a local dairy farm. They have 1,200 cows that they milk, so there's even more than that. They have a what's it called, a recycler? Or I forget. Sorry, Doug. I'm bad.
I
But
haven't
they
seen him. I need to visit him.
they have a system that this is pretty common now for big farms. It captures all the manure and the methane that comes off of it. They burn it in a generator at the farm and create electricity.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a starts with an R. But afterwards they're left with like their manure, then they break down into two more parts with this extruding system. And the solid part is this like powder, and they said it's cleaner than sawdust. They use it for bedding. and it's from the manure. So they use
Really?
it for bedding for their cows, and the other part's a liquid, and they spray it on their fields, and it doesn't stink. Compared, if you ever heard like
Really?
farms, if you're from Lancaster
So this
County
is
like us,
everything on the farm is being reused on the farm.
yeah. So they still put the manure back into the ground,
Right.
but they pull out the solids for bedding, and then the methane gas that comes off, that's what you smell, that stinky smell. They capture that, and same thing that's in a fart. If you ever farted and
I-
it stinks,
I've heard of people doing that.
yeah, it's gross.
Yeah,
But
I never have.
you could technically light them
I've
because it's a gas, and they have
heard of people
generators that
doing
burn
that
it,
as
make
well.
electricity. The more you know. So, cow farts.
So when we were talking about how cars were getting worse in the mid to late 70s, I always think of this car. And I think I did this right so that you can see this
It's
now.
got to be a Mustang.
Yes. Look at this. Look at how ugly this is. Oh my word.
Here's a car you don't see often. A
Yeah.
classic car that nobody wants to own, except for some very specific people that somehow don't find them horrendously ugly.
I mean, look at that car.
It's the late 70s Mustang.
That is just
Even the
that
early-
was a Mustang. That's
Oh.
almost as bad
So that's
as
the
the
78.
Mustang Mach-E.
What's the 79 look like? 79
Let me- here,
Mustang?
let me fix this so we can like see all.
Oh
of it.
yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing this car
Yeah,
right
I'm
here
just,
we're looking
like,
at.
I'm just
horrendous.
like adjusting this on the fly.
I think
so-
79 was the Fox body.
Oh, was it?
Early 80s Fox bodies
People love
were
the Fox bodies though.
Yeah, but the early 80s ones, ooh, I never loved the Fox bodies. They grew on me a little bit, but the late 80s ones, not the early 80s.
Yeah, that's the first year of the Fox body.
Oh,
Wait,
man.
is that a Mustang?
Yes.
Looks like a Tempo.
Mm,
Look at that.
Mustang. Fox body lovers are mad right now at you for saying that.
Yeah, but like think about like was it 03 maybe? No, was that the new body style? 03? that's the new
That's
body
the
style.
Cobra. So 94 they came out. The Fox body ended,
Maybe I think of 93.
and it was the
93.
SN95. I
Yeah,
think.
these like with like they had like
That's
the
the
kit.
last. Yeah, yeah,
mean,
the GT.
As far as Fox bodies go,
Yes.
these were the best.
They look better.
Right? But I
Yeah, they grew
still-
on me a bit, but the early 80s Fox bodies, oof.
Just like looking at this, I'm just like, man, I just don't know.
Like that has a lot of work done to it,
Yeah.
and you're still
But
like,
this is stock, right?
if you look
this
at,
spoiler kit is stock, isn't it?
yeah, the GT model had that, but not all. That's the LX model. Don't laugh. So this is 1993. Do you know what the Supra or the RX-8 looked like in this year?
Was
Type
it-
in,
was that
or
the
sorry,
F-
RX-7. Sorry,
Was that the
look at the
FC?
RX-7.
or FD?
RX-7, right there. Man, look at that
Oh,
car. What a great looking car. The 300ZX, what a great looking car. Japan had it figured out, man.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the other one? 93 Supra. That was a
I think that was still the old body style of the Supra. Still way better looking.
No,
No,
it's a
that was
new
the
one.
first year.
Oh, look at this. Looks what comes up.
Wow, it's the one on our new t-shirt design.
Yeah.
Great. That was 93, the same year that the Fox body was still being produced. Oh, my
Yeah,
word.
that's crazy. That is crazy.
The Skyline. The car Brian's driving right now. Same year.
Yeah.
Could
is
be.
he driving a 34?
I don't know.
I don't know
But
either.
they all look the same.
Yeah, they're the same car.
Better looking
I'm
than a Fox
convinced.
body.
Oh, I saw an Acura Integra the other day.
Whoa.
Like a new one.
What?
It was a 4-door.
They came back out?
They must have. What year?
2023 it is right now. Unless you're watching next year. But 2023
Yeah,
is
it
when
looked
we're
just like
recording.
this.
That looks like a TSX.
4-door though. It looks like a Civic. Don't look
Mm,
at the Acura. It looks like a Civic.
I'm disappointed. It looks
What
like a
about that?
TSX.
Did they actually come out with that?
Looks cool.
Did they come out with a 2-door for real?
You guys gotta be watching on the YouTube so you can be participating in what we're looking
Yeah,
at here.
yeah. Okay.
But
Should we get back to the
yeah,
minute?
yeah, we should.
Alright.
But make sure you watch on YouTube or
See, why did that do that?
that's the only we're having technical difficulties.
Don't worry, I'll fix it.
He always does.
It's so easy to fix.
He's switching between monitors and screens. All right, we got the movie back up. If you're watching on YouTube, you get to see the minute that we were talking about as we're talking about it. So,
Yeah. You went
We-
into your
did we not even
influencer voice
start?
there.
do I have an influencer voice?
Oh yeah.
Do I really?
Every once in a while, I get a Snapchat. I'm like, oh, he's got his Amazon review voice on.
Oh, that's so. I have no idea what it is, but huh?
I
that's
don't
good.
know how to
That's
say
good, right?
that it's different. Like I wouldn't be able to like imitate you and say you do it this way or that
But I
way.
speak in a
But
different
when you
like.
said if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the difference here.
That's
like-
my podcaster voice, and it might carry over into my influencing. So
Okay,
just
okay,
to be
okay,
clear on that one.
okay. All right, let's start the minute.
Yeah, sorry. Here we go.
All right. So the two guys are approaching Brian's car.
And the guy has like a device.
Right. They're
Yeah.
already doing something on another guy's car. Two different guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're scanning him.
There's like a tracker, like a
It's probably sensing something that's accepting and sending signals.
Yeah.
They're looking for tracking devices. At first, I thought it was one of those mirrors you slide under the bottom of the car to like see if there's a bomb
Mm,
under it. But
okay.
it's definitely like whoa, 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 making sounds like that.
Have you figured out what this thing is here?
That is a G35.
Infinity, yeah, G35.
Nice looking too. I like that. And Brian's looking real nervous now, and he's looking down. He's got this red blinking light because he's being like
He's
tracked.
doing- yeah, he's doing that.
And now
face.
he starts.
Luckily, he has a can of Nos right there.
Oh yeah.
The drink,
Yes.
the adult
He
beverage.
has the energy drink. That's
Did,
funny.
did you know that energy drinks have on them like a recommended for 18 plus only on them or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I never
Because-
looked for it. I never saw it.
No, it's come up in our household a lot lately.
Oh, really?
Do you know why?
Because
Prime.
oh yes, yeah,
Prime
yeah, yeah, yeah.
makes my kids are obsessed with Prime. Thanks, Jake Paul or Logan or whatever you are. And my kids are obsessed with Prime, and Gage thinks he wants to try the energy drink version, which says 18 plus on it.
Yeah.
Um,
They made the news. They're like
Like-
Prime, like it was like, oh, it's the same amount of caffeine as 6 Cokes.
Like the news does.
I'm
they-
like, okay, well, it's a 20-ounce drink or at least a 16-ounce drink, probably.
Right. Right.
And yeah, like it was like 200 milligrams, and I'm like, that's as far as energy drinks go, like
That's
bang at the
mid-tier.
300.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah.
Anyways, people
So-
just don't know.
Yeah. And
But the thing is, they're like
but they
they're
also
pushing it
pretend.
towards kids.
But they pretend. No, not the Prime. Like there's Prime,
G-
like sport drink, and then there's a Prime energy drink.
Okay.
Completely different. But they like were really mixing them up in all these like catch. What do you call it? Clickbaity news
Mm-hmm.
articles
Yeah.
where they're like, look, this isn't. It even says you can't have for 18 or older, and all these kids are drinking Prime. Like it's not the same.
Right. It's two different things.
Right.
It's just Gatorade, right?
Basically,
It's just like
it's red dye 40. Give you nightmares, but who cares? All right, so Brian's ripping apart his dashboard because he's like
his center console.
center console. He knows they're coming to Sense for GPS, and we know he's got a GPS.
Did he ask where this was?
Yeah, how did he know it was there? Because there's a red blinking light, but it's hidden. We see it because our camera view is inside of his center console.
Right.
He's literally pulling up his shifter bezel,
Yeah.
and
That's it's not easy to pull up a lot of times. On older
No.
cars it was, but
but
usually
often there's a trick. Like you pop this part out, and then you have to slide this
Right,
in a
right.
certain direction.
but he's been driving Skylines for a while, so he might
Maybe he
know the
knows,
ins and
yeah.
outs. So
And everybody's like kind of staring at him. He's making weird faces because he's trying to do this without looking suspicious. But he finally, right before they get to him,
and he's right-handed, and he has to do it all with his left hand.
because he has a right-hand drive car.
Yeah.
Bad choice.
Yeah.
And Dom's staring at him the whole time, almost like Dom knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Or he's
Dom
curious
sees
what
him
he's
making these weird lip and faces
Yeah.
like, like he's doing something down, but he's just sitting up, not even looking
So
down.
not only does he have a NOS or any sort of beverage, it's also not empty
Luckily,
because he drops the beeper in and you hear it hit the liquid, right?
yeah. Luckily, this little sensor in 2008 was small enough to fit through the little hole in the top of a NOS can.
And it's not waterproof.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like those
And it
types of
kills
things
it.
would be usually like
Like, he lucks out. Not the craziest thing that has happened in Fast and Furious.
no. But it was quick thinking on his part. I would think if he like that little
Like, what
sensor,
about the wires?
the reason it's under there is because it needs power and ground.
Yes.
So you pull it out, that should be enough.
Right.
Throw it on the floor. You know, it's not giving a
Otherwise,
signal
why
anyway.
isn't it just stuck to the bottom of something?
Right.
Why is it? It's wired in. So
Right.
like,
Anyways,
He took care of the problem.
He got it done just in time. Axel,
No, he looks calm.
laissez-faire. Cool.
But FBI headquarters not too excited about
Yeah.
this.
Not Stasi.
They lose signal, and they're like, we lost the tracker. He killed it. And they said, get the bird overhead, referring to the helicopter.
So already, like, nothing has happened, and they're gonna send a helicopter in.
These have to be the worst FBI guys of all time.
Yeah.
Because, first off, you're doing a high state, like, you're not expecting the, like, #1 cartel, drug, whatever, that's hiring street racers to be a little concerned about a tracking device. Like, they can obviously have a sensor to pick it up.
Right.
And then if Brian goes in there and it disappears, like, well, good for you. Shouldn't you have set him up that, like, hey, if you need to eliminate this thing quickly, here's a
Right.
way to do it, rather than being like, oh, he met with them and now we lost the signal. Let's put a helicopter over top of a warehouse where he clearly just met them.
Right. What would have been smarter to do was to put a little toggle switch in line with the tracker
Flip it off.
and just flip it off.
Flip the power off. But you've heard a helicopter go by.
Yeah.
You notice it.
Yeah. You run outside and look at it.
Yeah.
Here.
So when you're in a
Maybe
warehouse
not in LA, but
doing illegal activity and now there's one suddenly hovering over top,
right. It's like it
Come
wasn't
on,
here,
come on,
and then this guy
FBI.
pulled in, and then it was here. So
man, come on.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
that's where the minute ends.
yeah.
Brian in his car. It's a pretty cool picture right there, though.
What's
Yeah.
reflecting here? It looks like little dots.
Lights on the ceiling. That's what I
What
thought.
are the dots though?
Yeah, like individual. Like
But
a
they
whole
have
panel of
oh,
lights
that's the
on ceiling.
windows on the side.
Oh, those are lights. What are
I
these?
don't know. Weird reflection.
Huh.
Guess we'll find out next minute.
But yeah, that's the end of minute 56. Thanks for listening. I'm Ryan,
And I'm Jason.
and always remember.
Winning's winning.